Dr. Melvin L. Oliver is an expert on racial and urban inequality. Dr. Oliver co-wrote the award-winning Black Wealth, White Wealth, A New Perspective on Racial Inequality, and is considered the godfather of the racial wealth gap. He was recently named Pitzer College's 6th president and is finishing his term of service as Executive Dean of the University of California, Santa Barbara College of Letters and Science. He's also the Sage Sarah Miller McCune Dean of Social Sciences and a professor of sociology at UCSB. At UCSB, Oliver championed increased access for underrepresented undergraduate and graduate students, as well as faculty diversity. Previously, Oliver was vice president of the Ford Foundation's Asset Building and Community Development Program. Earlier, as professor of sociology at the University of California, Los Angeles, Oliver won numerous awards and was named California Professor of the Year by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. He also was founding co-director of the UCLA Center for the Study of Urban Poverty. He's a prolific author and serves on the boards of several foundations. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Melvin Oliver.
Thank you for that introduction. Getting awards are great. I've had a very fortunate life. I've had great opportunities, many of which I've been able to actualize. But every accomplishment in my life, every honor I've ever received, including this wonderful one, has been bittersweet. My parents, who gave me a wonderful life, who had an ambition for their son to go to college, and that was all they cared about. I went to college, but who themselves had only a 7th and a 9th grade education, never saw me as an adult. All those wonderful things that were said about me, they never know. But I know somewhere they're watching every step I take, every honor I get, and they're smiling and they're celebrating. Now, many of you here are people I've worked with, folks who I've shared a common vision, a vision focused on economic justice, on breaking the bonds of racial inequality, and closing the racial wealth gap. My contributions to that vision have always been collective, but my sense of that injustice was personal. I came to the ideas about black wealth, white wealth, because I had a colleague who came into the profession with me, and he was white. I was looking to get into a home in Los Angeles, and he and I applied for a loan, and the university said to me, "I'm sorry, you can't get that loan. It's given to people who are considered central to the mission of the university." He got the loan. He told me later, he said, "I don't know why they gave me that loan. I just got a big inheritance from my family. I don't need it." And it made me wonder. And out of that came my central idea that, along with my friend of 45 years, Dr. Thomas Shapiro, he's out there somewhere, we crafted and worked on what became Black Wealth, White Wealth. In 1996, when I came to the Ford Foundation, I was able to collaborate with a host of other people, organizations, and foundations to really change the poverty paradigm that we were stuck in. People didn't know about asset building then. People thought about poverty reduction of how do you work on people's poor attitudes, poor behaviors, the things that keep them in poverty. That was what we were talking about. And I worked with a lot of people at the Ford Foundation to change that paradigm, to move us toward an asset building paradigm where we looked at poverty as caused by the lack of assets, rooted in historical and contemporary public policy. What can we do that encourage people to build assets, not to change their behaviors, because the behaviors will follow if people have the resources. Now, the collaborators I had at that time were an amazing group of people, and many of them are in this room right now. Lisa Mensah, I don't know if she's here now. Lisa Mensah was central in making that change. Kilolo Kazakazi, and this is a person I hired. Her brilliant work laid the foundation for the work done by the experts of color and the Closing the Racial Wealth Gap Initiative. Kilolo has been just amazing in forging the kinds of connections that Meiju talked about. I have to say something about Meiju since you mentioned me. Meiju sent me an email one day. I didn't know her from anyone. And I read the email and I said, "Come see me." She came to see me and she walked out, I think, with $150,000. You saw what I saw, right? And out of that came very important work and I think a wonderful commitment that has shown fruits over time. But as I look at the current panel, I really see a lot of collaborators as well. If being an asset building champion means working with others on what seems at times like a quixotic quest, building partnerships that move us forward inch by inch, and keeping the flame of hope alive, then I accept this award on behalf of not only me, but on behalf of all of you, my collaborators and partners in the struggle. Thank you.